Gervonta Davis isn't the face of boxing, says Eddie Hearn. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, Eddie Hearn recently gave an interview and he spoke about what everybody's been talking about, which is Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia and the impressive sales they had of the content that went on that night, aka their big matchup did around 1.2, 1.4 unofficial pay-per-view buys or content sales.
You ain't worth no $100. I am Joe Blow, the lover man. You should be paying me, bitch.
I think people have been hating in droves about this. I think, you know, Gervonta Davis already has a number of haters. I don't know why, but a lot of people dislike Gervonta. You know, I think a lot of people like Devin. A lot of people like Shakur. Maybe it's Gervonta's personality. I don't know. Maybe it's his purses. I don't know. You know, it could be anything. It could be anything. You know, nowadays, hate is the new love. And the more a person hates you, it's almost like the more they love you, because they got to be finding something intriguing about you to be even following your life that much or digging that deep into your life, not having something better to do that'll actually turn themselves a profit. But, you know, nowadays hate is the new love, and it comes from every direction. Promoters, fighters, everybody's your hater. Fans, you know, the internet, everybody's your hater. But it's almost like I don't get why Eddie Hearn feels like that Gervonta Davis isn't the face of boxing, and he feels like Canelo still is the face of boxing. Like, I agree that Canelo is right there with Gervonta Davis. You know, you could put him and Canelo as the face of boxing, but you gotta admit, what Gervonta Davis is doing is ultra impressive. Whether you think the sales are impressive, and that's what's impressing you about Davis, if you think his actual boxing talent is what's impressing you about Davis, if you like his personality in and outside the ring, if that's what's impressing you, whether it's the knockouts, whatever it is that's drawing you in about Gervonta Davis's personality, is something drawing you in. So why not accept what brings you in and like that? And not hate on people just to be hating on people. I don't get it, you know. I could agree that Canelo is the face of boxing, but I agree with what a lot of people have to say about him popping dirty. You know, if you hadn't popped dirty, I could look at you in a higher standard, but since you did pop dirty and you got caught, you know, that's different, because even guys like Manny Pacquiao got accused and still gets accused to this day that he, you know, did something illegal, which he never got caught for. He actually sued Floyd Mayweather and won for. So you could never say that he got caught doing anything illegal, and people wanted to make it seem like he, at one point, wasn't the face of boxing because of those accusations. But he obviously was then, you know, in a lot of ways he still is now. Like the face of what, you know, the tough boxer, the real boxer, the knockout artist boxer is. That's Manny Pacquiao. And Gervonta Davis is taking on that persona.
Y'all niggas rather be more famous than rich. I ain't never lived my life trying to be famous at all. I don't give a fuck about that shit.
Right.
We trying to get this motherfucking money, stack these coins.
Never been popped. You know, nobody has ever said that what he does in the ring is coming from some type of enhancement. Or, you know, this is all Davis. And whether you like his in-ring or out-ring personality, you gotta like his boxing talent, you know, because it's obviously drawn you in for a reason. There's a lot of things I could change about Gervonta's personality, but if you change one thing, then he wouldn't be the fighter he is today. And it's unfortunate that people can't just accept the parts of you that they don't like, you know, just don't rock with those parts, you know. I don't have to like the fact that he likes women's apparel, you know. But I like the fact that the man knocks people out. You know, we just will never go shopping for clothes together. So, yeah, I'm not going to hate the man because, oh, well, you did this and I don't like this and I don't do this and you do. You know, there's no need to knock the man, you know, or make him feel like he's lesser than because you got one thing about his personality that you don't like. And if you compare Davis to Canelo, listen, I never said that Davis was the biggest draw in the world. But it takes a start to get there. You know, his fights were doing 200,000 or less before Ryan Garcia. And, you know, that's a big difference. 1.2 million to, you know, from 200,000 is a huge difference. That's a million people or a million eyeballs, a million views that you weren't getting. Now, what generated that? It couldn't have all been Ryan Garcia. That's why I've said in the past that it's a little bit of sleight of hand with the numbers and the way that they're putting the numbers out there, but it is what it is. You know, it's necessary in boxing to make these fights look good. You know, they gotta look good, especially the super fights.
Or are you just gonna let that slide?
Huh?
The bet that you guys had placed?
Nah, he could take the money. He could take the money.
Or people will stop tuning in. You know, nobody's gonna tune in the future because they won't feel like they missed something. You know, this is why Errol Spence and Terence Crawford are going to have to capitalize off of this because the longer they draw it out, you know, nobody's going to care, you know, because they're not going to feel like they missed something. You know, when those two guys get in the ring and they both got gray hair and, you know, one of them's shoulder is all out of whack because he's 40 years old. You know, it's not going to be interesting at that point.
See you in jail, remember that?
That was no prison. Yes, I was. Thanks for coming, too.
You know, he was in there by himself, you know, trying to figure out what the hell happened. And I just didn't want him to be in there, not thinking nobody loved him. And we had a talk. We had a nice long talk. And I was leaving.
Yes.
And here I am thinking I'm telling him something. You know, and I was going through stuff, too. And he told me right before I was leaving, it's a long hallway. So I was walking down the hallway. He said, "Hey, Tommy." I said, "Yo." He said, "Ikhra." And I said, "What?" He said, "Ikhra." And I was like, "Well, what does that mean?" He said, "Read."
You know, what did Amir Khan, Kell Brook do as far as numbers? I'm pretty sure it didn't do nowhere near 1 million buys. And that was one of the most anticipated matchups in the sport of boxing. But because it didn't happen to both of those guys that had been knocked out repeatedly, nobody cared at that point. So we don't want Errol Spence and Terence Crawford to go down that road. And for them to say that Gervonta Davis doing what he's doing, listen, he's had at least 3 super fights within the past couple of years. Mario Barrios, Hector Garcia, Leo Santa Cruz. Those are good fighters. Those are actually as good or better than Ryan Garcia. And if Ryan Garcia is a super fight, you might as well say those guys were super fights too. They just didn't have the audience that Ryan Garcia had. So he did bring some of the audience in, but I think a lot of people just wanted to tune in to see Gervonta Davis knock Ryan Garcia out. You got to give him credit for putting these fights on. You know, he's the face of boxing, not because he's selling millions and millions of pay-per-views. He's the face of boxing because he's actually taking on what are considered good challenges. Now, yes, Devin Haney would have been a better challenge. Shakur Stevens would have been a better challenge. Ryan Garcia was supposed to be that next guy up, but obviously Gervonta Davis's talent is a lot better than his is. You know, Leo Santa Cruz was supposed to be that guy at one time. Mario Barrios was that guy at one time, moved up to 147 pounds. Hector Garcia was supposed to be that guy at one time. You know, those are good fights, and Gervonta washed the floor with all those guys. So for guys like Eddie Hearn and Canelo to be jealous in a way of Gervonta Davis and the fact that, you know, he's doing numbers, you know, be proud of that guy that boxing is taking a leap into the future with some new fighters, and they're doing numbers because it's only going to help you in the future to sell more pay-per-views. And the more you hate on Gervonta, the less Gervonta fans are going to want to deal with you. So hating anybody at this point isn't good for business, man. It's all about business. Let's get this money. You feel me? Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. The like button for me. Sure. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms. That's Facebook, that's Instagram, that's YouTube, that's Twitter. But you are more than likely to get a response on the tube. So holler at me over there. If you want to be involved with the channel, feel free to hit my Gmail, collabos. That is flockofcards@gmail.com. flockofcards@gmail.com. And we are mine.
Alright. I'm out of here. I'm on my mind. 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 Illuminati want your mind, soul, and your body. You want a red bone hottie and a Maserati. Is that a fur trade? I was in 3rd grade writing down mean. Now I'm as clean as your maid. Get these bitches wet, they some mermaids. Take a survey, they all prefer K. EYZ, still in the money. I'm a Louisville legend and I'm still in my 20s. Super cool, wind chill in the 20s, but I still pack heat. I can make it feel sunny. So you can rock a white beater when I'm mobbing through. But be safe and bring your coat and your toboggan too. I'm out of here. I'm on my mind. 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 Where you from, nigga? I would clown your ass, but you can't get smart with a dumb nigga. Dumb nigga, I would shank your ass, but you can't knife fight with a gun, nigga. If Louis Keys did it, it's a damn banger. Tape on the 38 like a jam banger. To this rap shit, I ain't no damn stranger. They wanna throw me off the boat, but I'm the damn anchor. And my team ride clean, looking like tomato juice in my DAZN. My eyeballs bloodshot to red. All eyes on Louis Keys, no hockery. I'm out of here. I'm on my mind. 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 I got voices in my head, voices in my head. They say, Keys, get that money, get that paper, get that bread. Don't be worrying about the cop, don't be worrying